People think you can't train a cat.
Ooh, okay, I'm listening.
And I'm here to tell you that so often the problem here is the person and their low expectation. We don't think that cats are trainable, particularly. You can train a horse, you can train a dog, but they don't understand that the same is true of almost any animal. And I'm here to tell you that my examples of my trained cats, trained, whether I'm trained or they're trained, is something that people remark on. I'm here to show you a little photograph that the newspaper did on me a few years ago, and it's my Maine Coon cat hanging out with me and my bird, Nani, my parakeet. So he came later than the parakeet. The parakeet was there first, and she flew through my store, pooped her little poop, so she flew over the desk so happily, and then went up and hid behind the speaker all day. And even no matter how loudly we played the rock and roll. And he, at first, was all about catching Nani. And very soon, I trained him to understand that she was our pet too. And I won't tell you all the techniques, except that I used the same baby language with her purposefully that I used with him about getting a snacky, time to get a snacky. And he would run into the bathroom where the canister of bird food was and watch, and then run out to the cage and watch me feed her. And pretty soon he came to understand that she was our pet and he was not allowed to chomp down on her as she flew by. That's just one very small example. I have a cat now that walks on a leash, and people say, "You look familiar to me." I said, yeah, I'm the woman that walks the cat. And everybody's like, "Oh yeah," and then the other cat follows. And so I'm a little like the Pied Piper. But when I first got a cat, I never had a cat. And I have a long history as a horse trainer. So when I train my dogs, I train them under the same principles that I trained my horses, and I trained my cat as I had done with my dog, or I behaved with him as I did with my dog. My dog died, I got a cat, so I assumed the cat rode with you every day. So he rode in the car with me, sat on the console, banked the corners, used his litter box as I'm going around the rotary behind the seat. And when I would go, I used one of the principles that I always learned from my mother, which is you always tell your animal when you'll be back, and then they don't panic. I'll be back in 10 minutes. I'm just going to tell your horse you'll be back in a week and who's taking care of them. And that things go much better. Winston, this Maine Coon, would sit in the seat in the middle of the store, and my employees would say, "He's not very nice when you're not here." Well, that's not true. You just don't understand him. And they're like, "No, Kate, really not very nice." And I came to understand that if I didn't say, "I'll be right back," he was mean to everyone in the store, and I got a meow when I came back in, really angry face, scrunched up. And when I started saying to him, as I had with the dog, "I'll be back, I'm going to the bank, and I'll be back," he was calm every time I left the store. So another point is, obviously, people who know dogs, don't repeat yourself over and over to the animal, because your sincerity gets lost and it undermines you as the person who's speaking, and that you do have to sort of establish yourself as a boss. But the important thing is, if you have connection with your animal and you pay attention, and when they're asking for something and you respond, the trust level goes way up. And so that when you ask them for something, if an animal loves you, they all aim to please. So the things that I expect of my animals seem to be much higher than what other people expect, because other people are like, I can't believe you can do ski touring with your cat. And, which, you know what ski touring is? It's where your harness is on, their harness is on, and they pull you as you're cross-country skiing. That's a main thing in Norway that you can do with your cat. Anyway, I had my cat with me for years and years. Every day he came to the store, and I had 5 knee surgeries over the course of my athletic life, and the last one was really extreme. So imagine leaving a business with all of your bags and you're closing everything up. You've got your crutches, you crutched everything, and then you've got this 18-pound cat that somehow you have to get out the door with you and down all the stairs and down all of the cement stairs to the lower level where hopefully you remember to park your car, not in customer parking. So I would say to Winston, ready to go? Okay. And he would sit down and he'd put his arms up so that I could lift him and then crutch away with my bags and everything. People just don't understand that if you do have a need when you're sick or hurt or something, the animal will be there for you. White matter. When your brain develops white matter when you have to learn to play a musical instrument or learn a new language. And my mother was amazing with animals, as I said that notice when an animal starts to move their eyes side to side, because you'll see the whites of their eyes when they're beginning to develop white matter. It's when you teach them language. So what I do, and I did with dogs, I do with horses, I now do with my cats, is I say, you want to go to the litter box? There's the litter box. You ready to go to the car? You go to the car. Good sit. Meaning you always reinforce with the word and you expand their vocabulary. Everything you do, you use the word that goes with the action. And they'll begin to listen and develop greater and greater vocabulary. So, my point is that don't get caught in the trap that what you see is what you get. I have a little cat named Blueberry, and she was found in a barn and wild and naughty, didn't come when she was called, never looked me in the eye, sat remotely in the cold kitchen by herself while I was by the fireplace with the number 1 cat. And a friend of mine came in and said, no, Kate, you have to tell her that she's loved and that and don't think that just that's the way that cat is. You have to tell her, connect with her, and then her whole personality will change and come out. Now she comes running, galloping when I call her from way far away, long distance. She hikes behind me every morning. She'll follow me everywhere I go. She looks me directly in the eye. She has her own way of like tapping my ankle if she wants something. And because I respond to her, she knows that she's heard and that she responds when I ask for something. Thank you.